I'm going to call the Recreational Commission meeting open at 5:28 p.m. Thank you everyone for coming. Mr. Bonin has some selectmen obligations. He may pop in. We may or may not see him. Okay, first up, we're going to talk about the spending for the 2025 Recreation Commission budget. First up is the fence for the pickleball court. Does anyone want to come up and discuss that with us?
Yeah.
Come on.
For as many as you are.
Can I get everybody's name just for the record?
Pam Schwartz.
Okay.
Judy Russell.
Jim Duchamp.
Good to see everybody again.
Yeah.
Okay, so I went back and forth a little bit with Donna on the fence. We're just kind of looking for an update where you are, if we could possibly help with some funding. But I did tell her that funding the project had to be completed by June 30th.
All right, so that's a good question.
So if you want to just give us maybe a brief summary of where you guys are at.
We've been to the selectmen to get permission to put in the fence,
Okay,
and they were very cooperative. And they mentioned to us if it might be possible that they could help us out also. In what way, I don't know. But we're appreciative of that. We got 3 estimates, and we're working on a 4th.
okay,
And the middle estimate was for $5,000.
okay,
And that included that grass strip between the basketball court and the parking lot,
yeah,
a 105-foot fence, and then on each side, going back 20 feet towards the nets.
And would you be doing kind of behind, there's already netting there, are you just going to stay with the netting there, or are you going to put a fence there as well?
For the time being, just leave some netting there.
Netting,
and the
okay,
fence
that's worked out okay for you guys?
Yeah.
may need to be replaced, but
Yeah.
we don't get a lot of fly balls.
Right,
in
okay.
pickleball. They're mostly ground rolling balls that go into the driveway and down to the police station, so we're
Right.
chasing them all the time. And it's too bad Tim's not here tonight, because he, being one of the selectmen, was all for what we're doing and hopefully helping to fund us a little bit with the fencing, but we haven't had a chance to get back to him on that this season.
Yeah.
I'd like to talk to the town administrator
Okay.
about that with him. Right now, we have about $1,000 to spend on it.
Okay,
We'd have to do some fundraising to help pick up the difference, not knowing what you might be able to put into the project. The question I have for you, if you allocate money to us,
yeah.
you have spent it, but we may not have spent it by June 30th. Can we use that money, let's say, for a down payment on this project? Would that be considered appropriate allocation?
I don't think so. The town wants the project to be complete by June 30th, so. So we have a $5,000 budget for this year. That's what's in the budget for next year that needs to be approved by town meeting in May. About half of that goes to the lighting down at Soldier Field. So we have approximately $2,500 to spend. Maybe before I go into it, does anybody have any questions here?
I don't. No, not yet.
So it sounds like you guys are still in the planning stages, don't know exactly how much you might need. So my suggestion might be you tighten up your details, see how much the selectmen can give you, and maybe come back after June 30th if the town approves our budget again for $5,000. We'd have an additional money to spend in the fall, and maybe we could allocate it then. To me, it doesn't sound like you're going to get all it's hard to get all the ducks and get somebody there, and as someone who helped us.
I'll address that a little bit. We have people who have volunteered to front the money to us for this project. We would like it done before the end of June. But I'm not, that lends itself to how do we address this, not knowing what you might be able to allocate to us. since we don't have a completion date on hand, the fence companies we've talked to can put it in as soon as we give them the okay
Okay.
to go ahead with it. We want to come here and see first how much you might be able to fund this project before we know how much we have to go out and secure on our own.
Okay, so we
We
have,
want it done before June
okay,
30th.
all right. So, like I said, we have $2,500 to spend. As you could see from the agenda, we have a couple of people, others to talk to about other items. So, but even if you got the full amount of $2,500, you'd still be short of the project total, correct?
We're going to go ahead with the project.
I understand
Yeah.
you're going red, but
Yeah.
I'm just more concerned about I think all of us here, I don't want to speak for everybody, are supportive of the project.
Yeah. Oh, I
But
understand.
we don't want to not spend that money somewhere else, allocate you guys $2,000. If you don't spend that, it does go back to the town budget, but any recreational needs don't get spent on.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's just kind of a timeline issue more than
Right.
anything
Yeah.
else, I think.
We understand
yeah.
that.
The member, again, I don't want to speak for the members, maybe we'll be willing to put some money aside and see where you are in another 30 days. Do we have any idea how long would the project take once somebody came? A couple of days, or is it more than
Oh,
that? Does it?
Probably
less
2
than
days.
that,
Less
one
than
day.
that.
1 to
Okay.
2 days.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, it's not because the area's open, you can go right ahead and get right in there and
Okay.
do it. And,
Yeah.
the crew would come in and set the poles around the fence. But,
And we would have an opening on the front.
Yeah, you have a gate, I see.
yeah, either that or that bypass.
Yeah, we thought
You could put your fencing around
it would be better to eliminate any moving parts, and a lot of the parks now are setting the fence like that so the people walk through, and as long as it stops the ball, that's it.
Because we were hoping you could give us an idea of how much you could allocate for us, so we know how much we need to raise on our own, but we want to go ahead and secure the project,
Okay,
and possibly even get it done in May.
all right. So I guess maybe my suggestion is, why don't you stick around and see how the meeting goes, and maybe by the end, you'll have some idea. We'll come to some sort of resolution as to what we're going to spend our funds on, and maybe we'll have some idea, and you can come back up again. I don't think any of us want to give you a number right now until we hear about everybody's needs and where we are with those.
Are we better off waiting till after the town meeting, when your budget is
So
greater?
it'd be after June 30th, right? So the new budget would come in on June 30th. It's a little bit of a trick here.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard for us to say what other needs come up between now and then, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I think we're all supportive of the project.
Yeah.
I need to hear about these other projects. I don't really know what we're going to donate not donate, what we're going to allocate towards those, so.
Gotcha.
So why don't you guys, if you guys don't mind, why don't you hang out for a little bit? Let's hear the other projects, and maybe we can talk afterwards. Does that make sense with
Yeah,
everybody?
yeah, sounds good.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Dick, you're up. You would rather we pass over you and come back to you, or are you ready to go? Yep, he's ready to go. All right, so Dick is good. Dick approached me a few weeks ago, or sent me an email, I guess, about a recreational trail sign, so he's here to talk about that. How are you, sir?
Okay.
Good.
Sue would normally be here,
Okay.
but she got the notice, she missed the first thing you sent around.
Okay,
And then when I sent it around, forward this,
Yeah.
went to Brian instead of Sue.
Okay.
So Sue got left out until this morning.
no problem,
All right,
no
so
problem.
there are certainly plenty of opportunities in the open space and recreation area.
Okay,
There are about a dozen land parcels that have been donated to the town.
yeah,
And what we're trying to do with them is open them to trails and other things that would enhance the richness of the people here in town.
okay,
So I have developed a list, and it's largely mine because everybody was
sure,
off somewhere else. Easy to spend quite a bit of money here.
okay,
I went to Matt and said, Matt, how come you formed a group and then didn't give them funding? And he said, well, we give them $500 a year.
okay,
$500 a year
I understand.
buys a cup of coffee and donuts.
It does.
So I have a list of possible funding items which we could do, and there are so many opportunities at the moment.
Yeah. So, are you going to pass? You can pass.
Go ahead.
I would say let's start with what you think is the most urgent need or your highest priority, and go from the top to the bottom would be my recommendation.
Thank you. Thank you.
The highest priority for us is finding parking spaces for each parcel of land.
Okay.
That may seem like a simple solution, except that when you consider each parcel is largely surrounded by homes,
Okay.
and the people donated the land to us because it could not be made into house lots. They're circled all
Right.
around.
Right.
So there is access to every one of them, but one of them is 45 inches wide, which is 4 feet,
Okay.
and they're expected to use that to go in and out, and that's not going to work.
Okay.
So I think the largest priority right now is parking spaces, and that's something that we have to resolve ourselves.
Okay.
It could take money. For instance, in Southwest Main Street, there's a parcel of land that probably nobody knows is there. But in order to make a usable parking area, you've got to cut down trees.
Okay.
And literally, that big. So that's the highest priority. And then we have to configure trails. And I think we need to tell the people in the town that
Okay.
these parcels exist
Yeah.
and they're there for their recreation.
Okay.
So you'll see signs on here. No, you won't see signs on here. There are signs on here, and each parcel of land that gets a sign will be about $100.
Okay.
But I think what I talked to you, Ryan, about is putting in a larger 4-foot square sign, maybe 2 of them, which we can both use. You put up registration is available,
Sure.
championship, whatever,
Yeah.
and we indicate where the trails are in town and how to get to them.
Okay. And where were you looking to put that? Remind me again, Dick?
Where would I like to put that?
Yes.
Can I take the fifth at this moment?
You can, but it's unlikely we're going to approve a sign. We don't know where it's going to go.
Well, the thing of it is, we don't have Matt's approval.
Okay.
And so my dream is to put it right out here at the entrance.
Okay.
It's an area that's not being used at the moment.
Yep.
There's parking next to it, which says don't park there, but it's still parking. And that would be accessible to everyone in town, and almost sooner or later, people come to this building, and they would see that, and they would see whatever you wrote, whatever parcels of land are available for hiking. We want to put the mileage of each trail, the difficulty of each trail, and some will certainly be more difficult than others. One of the things I put on here, which is interesting, is a golf cart. And that's because my vision is seniors like to reminisce, like to talk about the good old days.
Okay.
And if we took them into the woods and let them listen to the birds, hear the gurgle of the water, that would bring back memories, favorable memories to them.
Okay. So looking at your list, right, so as similar to the discussion we just had with the pickleball group, is any funding we allocate the project needs to be done by June 30th. okay?
Yes.
So while I hear some plans, I don't know if I anticipate anything that would be completed by then, right? I mean, if we were going to, at least, again, this is just my opinion, not to commit everyone else. If we were going to buy a golf cart, I would like to hear some plan on who's going to operate.
Maintain
How are we
it.
going to insure it? How are we going to maintain it? How are we going to, who's going to give the rides to the seniors? it just needs, I think, a little more development. I'm not saying I'm against the idea, so what I do see on here are birdhouse and bird baths and benches. That seems something fairly straightforward that I think we might be I would be interested in providing, or in allocating funds for this year. Do you have any thoughts on where those would be?
Bird houses and bird baths.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to sound flippant, but within the confines of the parcels of land.
Okay. And the same with the benches. You don't really have a plan at this point, but you just think it would be I understand, but if we're going to approve something, again, I'm speaking for myself, if we're going to approve something, I think we'd like to know where it's going to go and where it's going to be.
Uh-huh.
Okay?
I think that
Yeah, that's how I feel as well. We'd like to know where are we going to put the stuff,
we'd be
you know.
happy to show you after it's in place.
you know, so
What do you think? That's probably not going to work out.
We love that
Nick.
idea.
I don't think.
it's some type of a plan, you know, even a rough sketch on paper, or what street, what
Yeah.
piece of land, something, you know,
Which
just so
trail.
we know.
Easy enough to do.
Okay. Does anyone else have any questions for Dick?
I don't right now.
Okay. So here would be my suggestion. I would say neither of the proposals we've heard so far are detailed enough for us to approve funding today. Would it be helpful for both groups if we came back and met in another 3 weeks? And maybe you could get some more details. That would allow you guys to fine tune when and where and how much funding maybe from the selectmen. If you think you could get the fencing project in, and that would allow you to get more details on this. I specifically would be interested in supplying, the benches would be the one I would be most interested in, but, you know, details on others would be fine as well.
Which one would you be more interested in?
Benches.
Benches.
Benches. I guess we should all, maybe,
I agree. No, I
I
think that we
putting
should,
one or.
Yeah, that'd be a great start, I
Yes,
think.
Yeah.
yes.
You know.
So
like an estimate.
consensus would be, you know, we'd like to, you know, do a bench and, you know, certainly the ground augers to, I don't know if I'm saying that right, to keep it there. But we'd just like some details on where would you guys like to put it, you know, except, you can understand why we'd want to do that, right, Dick?
Sure.
Yeah, okay.
Because
So,
we want to know the same thing.
okay, so maybe, are you saying, I don't think you need our approval to put, I don't think that's considered a recreation area. So maybe another question for the town administrator, who you need to get approval from. I don't believe it's us, though.
I'm not understanding. What are you saying?
I assume you need approval from somebody to put a bench on town property. Maybe not.
I would think so.
I would think so. So we're not sure who that is. We do not believe it is us.
It might be Sue even.
It might be. That would be great.
We'll find out.
Okay. So does that, so if we met in 3 weeks, so that's around May 1st or so, do you think that would give everybody enough time to get their project done, get a few more details and still get their project done on June 30th? Does that work for everybody? Dick, okay. And can you send me, did I not have Sue's address correct? If you could send that to me? I took the one off the website, maybe that's not working, I'm not sure.
Sue's address?
Sue's email address? You said she didn't get the email, so, Sue Perkins?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'll check it.
okay. And just, I'm happy to invite her personally, I just took it off the webpage, maybe I.
It's possible it was sent to her and she just,
All right, fair enough.
like we
Yeah.
get, each of us get so many emails in a day, you're scrolling down through and
I
saying,
hear you.
go, go.
I hear you, I hear you.
So I'll check that.
Okay, great. So you can hang around, we'll probably do a next meeting date at the end of the meeting, you can hang around, or I can reach out to you and tell you when the next meeting date is, but it'll probably be in 3 weeks or
Okay.
so. Fair enough?
Fair enough.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dick. Same with you guys, if you want to hang around, you're more than welcome. If not, I can reach out to Donna and send her the next meeting date. I don't know. What-
That works fine.
Okay,
Thank you.
perfect, thank you. All right. Moving on, next, we have discussions with the Historical Commission regarding a sign at Soldiers Field. Come on up, people. Thank you very much for adjusting to our schedule. I know this date wasn't on the list you sent me.
It was
We have a bunch of us coaching here, so we struggle to find a date we can get a quorum. I appreciate you guys adjusting your schedules and coming.
I'm Dawn Fontaine, this is Rebecca LaValle, who is the chair, and then Sarah Diamond, who's paving, is also.
Yes.
Do you guys need to call your meeting to order?
Yes,
Am I technically supposed to? Sure. I think I am. I call this meeting of the Historical Commission to order on Tuesday, April 15th at 5:49 PM in the Resource
Room, you got it.
Yeah, Resource
You're on.
Resource Room. Rebecca Doyle LaValle.
Dawn Fontaine.
Sarah Diamond.
So Sarah came to us, it's been a while now, but a couple meetings ago to talk about a plaque, and in my discussions with her, she says you guys have adjusted your idea maybe a little bit, and so we're happy. Go ahead, we're happy to hear what you have to say.
I have two proposals.
Okay, great.
So the first one is the plaque. The second one is what they call an interpretation board. So I'm also the archivist at the library,
Okay,
and I'm an avid baseball fan. So
all right. I hope you didn't watch the Red Sox last night.
chicken and beer ruined the Red Sox for me.
All right.
And it's a very sad thing because I loved it before then. So something a lot of people don't know is the 46 game doesn't even touch on Douglas's history of baseball. Before that, there was Blackstone Valley Baseball League, which actually ended up basically being AA baseball. It had two heydays. The first was 25 through 30, really 29, but 25 through 30. The second one was in the 40s. During that time period, 58 major league ball players played for the Douglas team. 10 of them are in the Hall of Fame.
Okay.
That's, to me, really impressive baseball history, especially if you love the history of the game. So the two thought processes we have is the first is the plaque that just honors the 1946 game. The second is an interpretation board. You see them at a lot of like parks.
DCR stuff.
I see this, yeah.
And
Yeah.
what that would do is that would actually tell the history of baseball in Douglas, ending with the 46 game and also kind of talking a little bit about the 96 when they recreated the game and you had some of the old players come back to the field. What I did is I provided you guys with a timeline. It's 4 pages. This would not be the timeline that we would do, but just so you guys had an idea of what baseball in Douglas actually was. And then it listed all of the players who actually played here. Hank Greenberg actually played a full season with Douglas. Lefty Grove pitched for Douglas. Like, if you know the game at all, these are really big names. I mean, Williams and DiMaggio and Cronin and Dorr, they're local names. They're names we know.
It's Casey Stengel, Casey at bat, right?
And then also you had Henry Coppola, and everybody knows of.
Charlotte and Tony.
Yeah, thank you. Well, Henry actually played for the Washington Senators, and he pitched against and beat the Boston Red Sox, and he pitched against Lou Gehrig.
And their family was raised in Douglas.
Yeah. So, like, to me, this is the history of the town. It's a baseball town that people don't realize is a baseball town. So I think the interpretation board could be a really cool take on it.
And, yeah, we also looked at the building to figure out, it would be less expensive if we're able to mount on one of the buildings there. There's already plaques. I'm not sure what you call that
The
building.
concession stand?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's already, it's a little bit harder to attach the concrete, but it's concrete block, but it's definitely doable.
Oh, sure.
It's- Yeah,
Put some lights in. Yep.
it's sturdy.
We'd be looking at, Dawn did some pricing with the Sunshine sign
Yeah, there's a sign company out of Grafton that does a lot of these interpretation boards and like just all over Worcester County. So just right now, we're in like the second phase, I guess, like we've conceptualized it, but haven't completely figured out, well, first we wanted to talk to you all, which type you are more inclined to do. So the interpretation board, anywhere from 24 by 30 to 30 by 42 would run us $1,500 to $2,000, and that's graffiti resistant. That's without any cut. That's with just mounting it to the wall of a building. If you look at the bronze plaques in the black and white copies, there's probably the one with the plaque sizes written there.
Unfortunately, it didn't print off great.
Yeah, that's a little bit more limiting of what we can put, but you can see examples there. That would have to be limited to something like an exhibition game was played here in 1946, Red Sox, Yankees, something of that nature, maybe another line there, and that's still going to run us about 800 in that range. So we sort of have, the option to do the plaque that's, bronze, just like not a lot of color to it, a little bit less expensive, but a lot less information on there versus the graffiti resistant interpretation board that's going to be a little bit more than 1,500.
And we do have stuff like this is, it's not a great photocopy, but it's a photocopy of the aerial from the 46 game. We've got the original scorecard, which I actually have from my personal collection, so they could get the original, they would be able to, it's not a photocopy or anything, so they could get the actual template. We've got newspaper articles that include pictures. We've got the Loom Fixer, which has actual photographs in it as well.
They might not know what the Loom Fixer is, the newsletter from the mill.
Okay.
Sorry, terms that I'm used to.
That's okay.
So we could use photographs and that kind of stuff as well on the interpretation board.
So we had envisioned like a little bit of text, some photos, and a much shorter timeline than what's shown there.
Yeah, like I said, the timeline was more just to show like the extensiveness of the history and how, like I said, I don't think people realize how much of a baseball town Douglas actually was.
Could I see the picture of the Soldiers Field when a game was played? I've never seen that.
Yeah, of course.
As someone who's coached on that field for many years.
I don't know why it looks so gigantic.
It's okay. I don't have a strong opinion either way. I don't know if the board members want.
I actually like the interpretation board better
I do too.
with more information.
Yep.
And the bigger the better, in my opinion.
Okay.
For a guy that needs glasses, so. But,
Okay. And that's how you two feel as well?
Yes.
Okay.
And we also, not to influence you, but since you're already voting that way, it just seems like it would be more interactive for the kids that are part of it too.
Sure.
They might not read a plaque so much, but looking at photos of the real baseball field, they might.
And I honestly like both, and if we could do both, I'd say let's do both, but I assume you're asking for funding as well?
Well, we were thought process was maybe we each put up 500 and then see if we could do any kind of fundraising. Because the thought is, next year is 80th. Math is tough.
Yep.
Is the 80th anniversary, so
Sure.
if we could have something for around that time next year,
September 2026.
that would give us a little bit of a fundraising
Yeah.
window.
And have it installed at
I'm
that
not,
time.
so like if we could each put up 500 and then 1,000 in fundraising, I'm not sure how easy it would be to get 1,000 in fundraising. And I'm not sure if there would, so we went originally through Blackstone Valley National Heritage Corridor, whether they'd also have any ideas on grants or something, if there could be anything for grants as well.
Okay.
Just different different funding thoughts and that kind of stuff.
So I don't think we could
Yes.
allocate any money at this point.
Right. So again, this is my discussion with them
Yep.
previously. It doesn't sound like we're going to be done for June 30th. So
Oh, no. This is something we're looking to plan out and figure out how we would go about doing things.
So we can't really vote on it, but I'd like to get a consensus from the board. I would be in favor of probably putting $500 for, I guess, we don't even know who's going to be on the commission. I don't know how, two of us are up for election, so.
We'll be there.
Yeah, we'll be there,
We'll be
yeah,
there.
like, we're not our.
Oh,
You
okay.
too, believe.
Yeah,
You do?
Yeah.
we're up this year, so we'll have
We
another
just-
3
yeah.
years.
Do you have opposition? No.
Not that I know of.
Yeah.
Okay, so, sounds like the two on the ballot are confident they'll be back next fall, so. It sounds like we would be in favor of putting that money, we can't do it now, but I think the consensus is we would be in support of this sort of project.
So I guess one of the questions I do have is the leaning towards the interpretation board is the way to go, because part of it would be also me starting to parcel down the information and trying to figure out what we would actually want to be putting onto the board.
Correct.
And approval
So
of that.
so perhaps we could meet after, when we're in the next cycle, and then we could have something that was more concrete, like the exact size and the exact funding that we'd be, I mean, if we're only just kind of saying 500,
Yeah.
then we'd still want to have, what we were fundraising towards. but,
Yes, and we came a little bit short of the goal, we could maybe
Yeah.
adjust,
Okay.
depending.
And also, I don't know, like, what we do for fundraising. I'm not sure what the different options are. That's something else
Yeah.
I have no idea where to go on fundraising.
I would suggest asking the baseball, I'm the treasurer on there, so I'm wondering if something like we open like a snack shack just for that event, and like, all, you know what I mean? Or maybe like the weekend before, something like that to like funds that way, you know what I
Like,
mean?
find a weekend that, like,
Yeah,
a weekend
yeah,
to
it's
that,
like
like-
all this money is going to put the sign on there,
Okay,
that's
yeah.
something,
And we
something.
can give
about the-
give a drawing of what it would look
of the,
like.
yeah, I mean, so I think our Thursday is our meeting for that at there. I can let Nick know that you'll be there if
Okay.
you guys want to be.
I can't, I got work Thursday
Okay.
night,
This
but if,
Thursday?
Yeah. If you want, like, see, yeah, I mean, we would meet every month, so.
Okay.
So you have time.
Yeah.
So even if it's not this, it's the next third
Okay.
week Thursday. So
Okay, yeah,
something like that, just to see.
yeah. All right, that sounds good. The only thing is, Jen, do you think, would it be better to wait and then we have a better drawing?
Yeah,
better
we could do that, yeah. But I can also just mention it to him too. Okay.
Want to stick my, I don't think the baseball program will
We
care
don't
too
care
much
about
about the
this, yeah.
details. You may want to just,
Oh, right.
you're going to lose a month of the season if you wait till the
Okay.
main
Yeah.
meeting.
Okay,
So
that's fine
I
then.
think if they have you, it'd be better to get the ball rolling a
Okay,
little
whatever
bit.
you
Just,
recommend.
Yeah.
Okay.
so.
Just so they can have an idea, like this night will be dedicated to them, you know what I mean,
Yeah.
or something like that.
And we can get on the
We could,
calendar.
yeah.
Okay, that sounds great.
Okay.
But I think this is a great idea, so thank you, guys.
Great. Yeah, we have some text too but we'll incorporate it into a design and figure that out for maybe after June.
And even if you wanted to do a little back and forth with Sarah and I, or you and I can do it, just get the input of the board members, just so we're not spending 20 minutes going back and forth on the wording. We can kind of have it tied down, so when we want to approve it, we can just, everyone will have a general sense of what it is. And we
yeah,
can just
like I said, when I did the timeline, I'm like, I'm going psychotic. I'm going to do everything that's as important, like anything that. Yeah, I do. I'm a full tilt person when I do it, and it'll be definitely like cleaning a lot of it up and putting more just the important dates
Yeah.
and stuff, as opposed to all of them.
I'm sorry, were you suggesting that in an email or? Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
we can do that.
guys, hey, here's what we kind of had. Do you guys have any thoughts? I'll send it to the board, they'll send it back to me, I'll try to incorporate it. And I don't think we're going to have too, speak for myself, I do think the 46 game is important to highlight, even
Yeah.
though Williams, those are the ones everyone's going to know. So I do
Yeah.
think
Right.
that's an important part of the document, but it's just a part of it, so.
Right.
Yeah, well, like I said, it's really cool, but I think so many people lose the.
Yeah.
There's so much more to it.
There
And
is.
when I first found out, I'm like, wait a minute, there's this much of Douglas
Right.
baseball? I'm like, and there's actually a quote from Boston that at one point they called it the heart of baseball. In the United States, Douglas was the heart of baseball because in a town of 2,000, we had 4,000 people coming to baseball games.
It's good.
It's fantastic.
So you had double the population coming to watch AA baseball games.
Right.
That's unheard, like, you'd never see that today.
So on that picture, is there no fence in the outfield? Everyone's just, is that correct?
I think that's how it was.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So different from today, but fantastic.
Sarah, you good?
I'm good.
Okay, so we'll
Oh,
adjourn.
I'm sorry. Dick, let's get something in the back. Dick, what would you like to contribute?
Yes, I may have an answer to some of your dreams.
Okay,
The information board. Remember I said we were looking for a large sign?
yeah,
The first section going up, my vision is 48 by 48,
okay,
which will hold a lot of information.
yeah,
And all we need is Matt's permission and it'll get done. I'm waiting for one piece to tell me whether we can use push pins in the thing that I want to use.
okay,
And if it isn't that one, then it's another one. So
Okay.
I'm ready.
all right,
Okay? And the second piece is you wanted money.
okay,
You wanted money.
sure.
Remember the Community Preservation Act? We had a big deal going on, vote 6.
Yep.
Well, we raised a fortune. Bottles and cans,
Okay,
$200 a week. That's what the average is, every single week up at the town transfer station, $200 in bottles and cans.
Okay,
all right.
all right.
Thank you.
There's your source of money if you want it, but it
Yeah.
isn't free, is it?
A lot of work.
It's your time, yeah.
It's work.
Yeah.
And then you've got to go.
Once you get the pattern down, I mean, I don't do counting anymore. I take a bag, count 200 in it, and then all the other bags that I get look about like that.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, great. Thank you very much for the suggestions. Okay, do you want to adjourn your,
Yeah, I was
Yep.
gonna say we'll adjourn.
All right, the Historical Commission adjourns their meeting at 6:05.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
thank you very much. I really appreciate you guys
And
coming.
then I have paying Dick's favor back. This is Sue Perkins' email.
Oh, okay.
But I will let you know, Sue has said herself that if she checks her email once or twice a week.
That's good.
Okay.
That is
It was only Thursday or Friday when I sent it to her, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I sent it to something like that. I'm
You
not
didn't
sure
give it a whole
exactly that.
Yeah, she fully admits that she's not one who checks her email on the regular.
It worked out great. We're going to see him in May anyway, so.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. So Nick Nason said he was going to try to come by about some field renovations at Salters. Jen, do you know
All
anything?
I know is all the board and everything else that we got, but I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we'll pass over that for now. And I have some meeting minutes. One copy. So the copy ran out, and all I could find was green over there. I don't know where they keep the paper. but- All right. So we want to take a minute to review the meeting minutes, and then we'll try to approve those. If completed, I'd be looking for a motion to approve the minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by John, seconded by Hannah. Any questions, adjustments to be made? If not, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, unanimous. Last but not least, does anyone have any topics not reasonably anticipated 48 hours in advance of the meeting?
I have one thing.
Yep.
It's that time of the year for the fire extinguishers to be serviced.
Okay.
As we've done in the past, it's around $125.
Okay,
Looking to,
we'll put that on for the next agenda to be
Please.
paid, does that work?
Yeah.
Okay. Should I, well, I guess we could talk about the time, probably no more than 150, just to be sure.
Correct.
Okay. One other thing, there was talk of a donation to the Recreation Commission. So I've been asked by Jean we need to create a Recreation Commission donation account. So we will try to do that at our next meeting as well.
perfect.
Any other questions, comments? Anybody else? If not,
I have
I'd be
nothing.
looking for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Good.
Motion made by John. We'll give Jen the second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We're adjourned at 6:10 PM. Thank you very much.
Thank you.